start climbing, show up and win. Never stop striving, it's gonna be worth it, wait and see. Building your legacy.
Woo!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brick by Bricks podcast, where we build others up through competitive collaboration, one person at a time, agent at a time. Through
Where's
Dylan's not
Dylan?
here. Dylan's not here. Welcome to the Brick by Bricks podcast, everybody.
Well, this is Curtis Haddock.
Yep. Oh
I'm
yeah,
Brooke
there
Massey.
we go. That's what I missed.
I'm Casey
Introduce everybody.
Tudor.
We have a special guest with us. He's always behind the scenes, setting all this stuff up, the equipment and editing the sound, and
I just learned how to properly talk into this mic.
yeah.
Because
So,
apparently this is the mic, not this whole thing.
yeah, you got.
I mean, the whole thing is the mic. You just talk into the
You gotta
diaphragm.
talk. You gotta talk directly
Yeah, well,
into the mic.
He's not doing
Yeah.
a very good job.
But Casey Tudor, everybody.
just kidding. He's doing a great job, and we wouldn't be able to be here without him.
How do you feel about being in front of the camera?
Well,
not behind the camera.
good. I feel good, and I was on my way to the office this morning, and I was thinking about what we could talk about.
So this angle, I kind of want to take a picture. What's that? Tim the Tool Allen or whatever, and the
Tim
guy,
the
the
Tool-
neighbor
Tim the
that
Taylor,
goes like
Tim
this.
Tim the Allen. or
Like
whatever.
that's all I see over Curtis's mic right now.
That's true.
It's just like barely.
His name is Wilson Wilson. by the
Wilson
way.
Wilson.
Wilson
This is gonna
Wilson.
be your name is Wilson for the rest.
I mean,
of
what
this
a
And that's
podcast.
cool-
Home Improvement.
what a
That's the name
cool
of that
role.
show for those of you kids out there who
I thought it was
don't know.
Tool Time.
Tool Time.
that was the name of his show
Tim
on
Allen.
the show. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
Tim the
forgot.
Tool Man Taylor.
And he'd always go, oh.
Yeah.
And then we'd
Uh,
run around doing it looking like morons.
Okay, so what's new, everybody?
Well, we still have all of our fingers from the 4th of July, so that's good.
Yeah.
This episode is not going to be coming out anywhere near the 4th of July. So I was thinking, I'm not going to try not to say anything about the 4th of July. And here we are.
Well, we're talking
Well,
about it.
We're
talking
just
about
adding
it.
to it. It's been
Yeah.
a crappy morning,
Hope
kind
you-
of.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a happy 4th. It's dark outside. It's rainy and muggy. So the lighting in here is going to look different. So hopefully not bad different, but good different, or indifferent different.
Different's not always a
oh,
bad
and-
thing.
Dylan is on vacation, so I hope you guys still watch the episode since he's not here.
Is he the star or something?
I don't know.
We never claimed that.
What if
I tried to at least dress like him.
You
if-
did,
what-
but your hat's not on backwards.
What
Well, yeah. I said I tried.
if also Dylan never interrupted me like that? I'm just kidding. What if the analytics like on this episode like skyrocket?
They will.
We're going to have to kick him off.
They have to.
We're going to have to kick him off.
Yeah, I mean that's Dylan's loss.
We
I
won't know
guess.
for a
That's
few years,
What
though.
happens when you go on vacation?
Fair.
I'm saying like, what if this is the episode, the
That goes
tipping
viral.
point that
It
goes
will.
viral,
Especially all this mumbo jumbo
and like the hunkiness of Casey.
hunkiness.
Am I allowed
Oh,
to say that?
gosh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I appreciate it.
Did I just embarrass ourselves?
No, he didn't
At
embarrass
least
me.
me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't claim y'all.
Okay.
That's why I chose the chair today.
Okay, so Casey, you said you were thinking about something that you wanted to talk about as a special guest today coming in. What is that?
I didn't say that.
Oh, what did you say?
I'm just following along with you guys.
Okay, well, you literally just said. Well, then I was thinking about something on my way into the office today.
What
and,
were you
What
thinking
was
about,
it?
Curtis?
I was thinking about excuses.
Excuses.
Why do like people make excuses about, we're trying to continue on this series of our mindset and having an appropriate mindset for building a business, production, especially as it relates to real estate. And we thought, what stops people from achieving their goals? And obviously there's so many different things to mindset. One of those is making excuses, and I think that there is like
There's a world of excuses out there that
oh,
people
a
don't
ton.
realize is an excuse.
there's we're gonna go over why do we make excuses. I mean, there's always a consequence to every excuse that you make, or every decision I should say that you make, and action that you take. And then we gotta we want to learn how do we
Overcome
stop
it.
how would we overcome making those excuses. If it's just like if it's become part of our personality or part of our everyday life without us even realizing it, how do we recognize it and point it out and overcome it so that we can live the life or build the business that we want to build. So, with that being said, we're going to start with why do we make excuses? Why do you make it? Do you make excuses?
No, I'm just kidding. Yes. I mean, everyone does. Every single day we're human. So I don't know. I mean, really why? I mean, because we are scared. We don't want to do it. We may not be good at something, so we don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want to let others down because we're worried about what other people think.
You're just repeating the whole outline.
Am I?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just pulling it out of my head.
There you go. That's good. That's good stuff.
I mean, but that's some of them.
I mean, what are some of the biggest excuses that we hear from agents trying to produce in real estate?
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
This is a different market.
Yes.
This is a different market. Oh gosh.
Whether it's a different state or
that's my biggest pet
or
peeve.
like it's not 2020 anymore
Yeah.
or
the
2008
interest rates are high, and so it's impacting my business.
That just drives me nuts, because if you just be consistent and do the work and talk to people every single day, at the end of the day, people still have to have a place to live.
Well, think about this.
So you're going to be successful in real estate. That's all I'm going to say. If you have good systems and you don't make excuses like the market, you can be successful in real estate. That's the biggest perception and biggest pet peeve.
The people who no, you're good. The people who have been in real estate for 15, 20 years, the people at the top of the list as top producers in whatever market you're in. I mean, there are names in every market that if you say their name, people know who they are. And and you could be brand new agent and you know who these people are. And do you think that those people just all of a sudden, like, why are they still there after 15, 20 years? Just that the market changed multiple times, but yet they're still here producing. They're still at the top of the list. And it doesn't matter if the market's up, down, sideways. It doesn't matter. They are consistently doing the work.
Yeah, and there's brand new agents that can go out and do that, and people already know who they are, and they've only been doing it for a year or two.
And people wonder why they experience less hardship than everybody else or themselves.
We got to quit being the victim is the thing, and that's a pretty big mindset. I mean, it's easier to blame someone else. It's easier to keep that 9 to 5.
100%.
And you just blame your boss, right? And then you just go home and complain about it and wake up the next day.
Victims don't know they're
victims.
victims, though. That's part of like trying to pinpoint and overcome. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead into, how to overcome it, but yeah, I'm not going to jump ahead.
Well, I've been a victim a lot of my life, and it took a huge conscious effort for me to change that mindset. And it's hard because whenever you do that, then you have to take full responsibility for everything. And I think that's why people don't want to do it. It makes it difficult, and you have to peel back those layers of your life that you don't want to necessarily see.
Yes.
Which is why I always tell people real estate's a lifestyle, because you're not going to be good at serving others if you're a mess.
Yep.
Right. So you got to handle yourself. It's just like when you're dating, like if you are, and this is advice for our director over here. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew someone was gonna call her out.
She's going on a date tonight, but for real, like,
hey, that's officially in the podcast now.
That's right.
We're talking about. We already know who we're talking about because Dylan says it every week. Lauren, get down with the get downs or whatever he says. Yeah, you just totally.
Sorry, I gave her away. No, but seriously, you have to look at yourself and say, like, would anybody want me?
We can cut that
right.
out.
Like if you're constantly projecting issues and problems, and you're a victim and you're blaming others, and say you drink too much and you find yourself waking up on the floor, you're making bad decisions all the time. I mean, what
and you're
kind
speaking
of
from experience?
Well, I know I have friends.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, just in general, like that's the kind of person you're going to attract, right? So,
yes.
So whether it's in a relationship or in a profession, if you want to be at the top of your game, you have to address all those things. Because if you're dating and you're that kind of person, that's what kind of person you're going to attract to yourself. You're not going to get this well put together, successful person because they're not going to put up with that.
No.
Right. And so
No.
I think that's why real estate's hard. And there's a book I was going to recommend. It's called I Know What to Do, So Why Don't I Do It?
We don't recommend books on the podcast.
We don't?
You should know that by now.
Well, I already did.
Okay.
And this is my
I was
first
like,
time.
we don't.
We have to put it in the description. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
But I don't, or I know what to do, so why don't I do it by Nick Hall? And it's he's a neurologist.
And that's a great book. We should have read that book.
But
before this
he talks
episode.
about the science behind why you protect yourself. And when you read it, you're like, oh my God. That
Wait,
makes
so
total
go
sense.
into that some more.
I can't because I don't remember.
Well, I do. I have something to add to that, to like protecting yourself.
like
And I think
self-preservation almost.
Yeah, it's like, because it's kind of, if you think back in the day, like when we were cavemen, right? What was the fear out there, right?
I don't know.
Getting eaten by a cougar or a bear or something, or how to create
At least
fire.
I mean, that's what we
and
think. Yeah, who knows?
But I mean, like, who knows,
That's
right?
the human design.
Nature
Yeah.
was our fear.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't have that anymore. We don't have to be terrified of cougars and bears and stuff like that. We have other
Unless
things
you're
to
faced
fear.
with one in the woods.
Well, I mean, but
Yeah,
still.
I know.
then I
On an
am
everyday
running.
basis.
If that happens, you put yourself in that situation.
On an everyday basis, we have to go and we have to face our fears and excuses and everything like that. And so it's just, we've created another way to be fearful of things
Fear is
in modern
the
days.
number one driving factor to our decisions as people. And this, cite your source. Going
Is this the Enneagram
This is the
or whatever?
Yeah, this is the Enneagram. I don't know if you guys know the Enneagram personality test.
I've
There's a
done
ton
it,
of
but
them
I
out
don't
there.
remember.
I need to do it. I keep
You
forgetting.
fall in
What
this
am I?
category.
What am I?
You fall.
A zero?
You are a 6, I believe, is what the number is.
That sounds familiar.
You're a 6, and
I need to revisit that.
essentially, 60% of our population is an Enneagram 6, which
60%,
is
that's crazy.
it's crazy, but it's because the 6s are motivated, and I guess motivated is not the right word, but they make decisions based out. They let fear kind of drive their decision making whenever they're in an unhealthy mindset.
Yes.
And it's very easy to get in an unhealthy mindset when fear is something that can take over.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why you see, like, that's why the news, like, that's why all they do is just put things that are like you can control people if you make them afraid.
Oh,
right?
yes. Or give them doubt or
You can sell,
whatever.
you can sell products that way.
You can sell products that
Mhm.
way. You can, just a lot of people will use fear of, think about insurance is a great example. Like, you better get insurance in case this happens, or you want to upgrade to this material in case something happens, or, it's wild to me. When I learned that 60% of the population is like that, it made so much sense to me as to why people behave the way that they behave.
Yeah.
Because fear,
It's a natural instinct.
yeah, and it's a powerful
It's there
emotion.
to protect us.
Yeah.
But we also need to learn how to have the mindset of when it's protecting us and when it's holding us back
Yes, you got to manage.
from what we're trying
you got
to
manage your fear.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And be able to take, calculated risks.
Mm-hmm.
Calculated being the key word there.
Yeah.
But fear to me is, fear of failure, fear of rejection,
Mhm.
real estate. Those are some big ones, right? I don't go out and make the calls that I need to make, or or socialize the way I need to socialize, because I'm afraid that people are going to reject me, and I'm gonna fail at it, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And then I'm embarrassed, and then it's like, okay, I went out there and I tried it, and it didn't work. That was one of the excuses you said, Casey. It didn't work, and I feel like people they hold back and they don't take the action to go fail, because if they haven't failed yet, then they can still say there's maybe a chance that they can still make it work. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. Well, it's
Like-
just, people forget too that it's just like riding a bike. You
Mhm.
get on a bike, you fall, you skin your knee, it hurts. You're
Yeah.
embarrassed in front
Failure
of
is
the
not
neighbors
bad.
and your
Failure is
other
not bad.
friends.
Well, it's hard to accept that failure is a part of it.
Yes.
And I think people are trying to skirt that constantly.
Agreed.
How can I do this or this without this happening to me?
Like,
without the rejection.
Go back to the dating thing real quick. Let's say you're just an average looking person, right? You got a good personality, but attraction is a big part of dating, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say that let's say that there is a significant other out there that's for you, that you're attracted to them and they're attracted to you. But a lot of people will settle and feel like they don't deserve that because maybe they got rejected by one or two people that that weren't interested in dating them, right? Mm-hmm. But if you line up like 10, let's say 10 beautiful people of the opposite sex, and let's say one of those 10 people, it actually will be attracted to you and your personality and your, mannerisms and the way you carry yourself and your goals and ambitions. How will you ever know that if you don't go through all 10 people and find the one person that will say yes?
Are you saying I should have dated more?
Yeah.
Well, if you feel like you settled with Claire, then yes.
Or how powerful would it be? How powerful would it be, like, just going back to the riding the bike mindset, right?
Yeah.
Every kid wants to ride a bike, and every kid knows that that's just part of it, adding the training wheels and whatever else. It is a normal thing because that's the perception we put out there, whereas just like the fear tactics and everything else, or dating or whatever, you're quitting your full-time job from a guaranteed paycheck to now running your own business, and it's scary. People put such a perception on that. If you were to flip it, and it would just be just like riding a bike, it would be no different. Mm-hmm. To just break it down, I think, simply. Yeah,
we have limiting beliefs too, and some of that's imposed by fear of, I can't do that, so then they don't have to try, so they don't have to fail, right? They just can't.
Yeah, but why can't you?
Because they don't want to fail, so that's why they or it's imposed on them like naturally from influence, right? From parents. So I heard this really interesting fact that they talk about how, like, people from China, they're really good at math, right? And you hear that a lot. Well, it's because they don't look at it the same way we do. Like, a lot of parents will they'll just come out straight and say it. Oh, I can't help you with math. Math is hard, right? And then from the minute you were told that as a child, it's hard.
Math is hard,
right?
Yep.
The same thing with, like, when one of your parents are in the mirror and they're calling themselves fat, or they think they're unattractive. The first time your kid who's skinny hears that, they automatically think they're fat, right? And so that you're being influenced constantly, and so you're also constantly battling that as you grow up, which is part of, like, having to constantly work on your mindset and change it. So that's what the limiting beliefs are caused.
Yeah, your mindset's being framed every day by something or someone, TV, your people you associate with, your parents, your siblings,
and then just who you are.
Yeah, and then naturally who you are. Yeah,
it's
100%.
Just like they're working out, right? There's no way around it. You have to work out every single day if you want to be healthy and have a nice body. Your brain is just another muscle. Talk positively to it, and you have to do it, and you have to be consistent, just like anything else. Make cold calls, be consistent. Think positively, you have to be consistent. Like yesterday, I had a terrible day, and I was just a terrible mindset, but every time I had a terrible mindset, I kept trying to talk to myself positively, and it helped so much because by the time I went home, I was fine, and I was relaxed, and I was in a good positive mood.
Yeah.
So, but I had to work at it, right? Yeah. It's not fun.
And what's interesting too is another mindset I think we think about all the time is retirement, right? Mm-hmm. And this is something that's been plugged in our brains since we were little. It's like, go get a job so you can retire. Save your money so you can retire.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what happens when people retire? A lot of times they die.
Or they go back to work as a Walmart greeter,
or they do that,
or whatever,
because they didn't save properly.
Yeah, because they're
not exercising their brain anymore. They have no purpose anymore.
Yeah, there's no purpose.
And so it's like,
there's nothing wrong with
it. It's weird.
You always got to have a purpose.
Yeah, and so I think we're constantly thinking, like, I want life to be easier, right? I just want to do nothing. I want to retire so I can do nothing, this and that. But designed.
Is nothing your purpose?
Well, we're designed to keep moving constantly.
Yep. Yes.
And if you don't, you die.
Exercise
mentally,
your brain,
physically,
exercise your
emotionally.
body. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
You got to keep things rolling.
Well, yeah, because people are like, I want to make money and I want to build something up to where I have all this money.
So I can do nothing.
I don't have to worry about anything. We just want to be real. But that's what happens when you die. You don't have to worry about anything.
Right. Yeah. So wait till
I want to do
nothing until then. There's a good story about a fisherman. he goes fishing every day, and he lives in a small little village. And he has this guy come by and goes, dude, you're really good at fishing. Have you ever thought about starting a fishing company? He's like, not really.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you should think about it, because if you could catch a bunch of fish, you could sell them and make money.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, that sounds good. So then what? He's like, well, I'm going to butcher the story kind of, but basically do this for 20, 30 years, build this empire, this fishing empire. And he says, and then what? He goes, well, then you can retire and sit on the beach. And he's like, well, but then what would I do? He's like, I don't know. I'd probably just go fishing every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just funny, because it's like, it's this thing that always do more. And that's great if those are your goals and what if you're trying to leave a legacy for your family, but that's not always the only path.
No.
You got, again, it goes back to purpose. You got to have a purpose.
Gotta have a why.
And that's why we talk about your why. If you don't know your why, then you better sit down and figure it out before you get started in anything. Because life is hard.
Yeah.
I don't care what your job is. I don't care what industry you're in.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Life is tough.
All the same.
However, with a purpose, you can get through those tough times so that you can endure it a little bit easier and enjoy the moments of the good times.
Yeah.
You know? And something we always tell people is, working, building a business, being a successful producer, whatever it is that you're doing, being good at it and going and showing up for work every day, exercising every day, doing the things that you're supposed to do is hard. It is difficult to do. Not everybody can do it. It's also hard and difficult, though, to live poor and to not know if you're going to be able to pay your bills next month, or keep your
what kind
your
of hard
kids
do you want?
fed, or whatever, you name it. But you're choosing which hard you want.
Being
right?
poor is hard. Being middle class is hard. Being rich is hard.
And more people choose to be poor and to live life that way because that's the result of inaction. And it's easier to just sit there and not do anything than it is to actually take action and do something. So there's an inaction hard and there's an action hard, and more people choose inaction because it's an easier thing to do. But in the end, is it an easier thing to live with?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go and stop making excuses and you go be consistent with yourself, then those hard times are like that.
Yeah.
Versus living in it constantly.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No,
anyways.
I think that when you don't take action and you're living life hard month to month, it's a constant like you're always thinking about it.
Every day you're struggling.
Every day you struggle. Every day you worry and fear, and the fear sets in of like, okay, how am I going to afford this next month and that, and whatever it is that is important to you and that you worry about. But whenever you take action and you're living the hard life of action, and now you're not living month to month, those hard times that come, the hard part of life, it's like you said, it's not as often. You can sometimes get through it quicker. Now you're just managing the difficult times as opposed to living with the difficult times.
And then
wondering
get to a
how
point
you're
where
gonna
you
get
can
out.
leverage it out. No, just kidding.
Yeah, right. I mean, but you should essentially you can.
Yeah, delegate it.
I had zero excuses when I decided to do real estate. Like, I was given the opportunity.
You were at the point of like,
I was done with it. I was done with my job, and I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I felt like personally every job I'd ever worked, I was better than that. I feel like I was better than the manager I was working for. I worked harder than them, but no one would ever give it to me, right? And I spent a lot of years thinking someone was going to give something to me.
Yes.
And that was another like excuse and
stress
mindset thing that people have problems with. And I don't know, man. I didn't want to, like, right now I don't have to worry about paying my bills. I mean I worry plenty, but like I know my bills are going to be paid. I know if I have to go to the ER, I don't have to worry about making the payment. All those kinds of things. I like nice things. I like guitars. I like having my music studio. And there's no way if I wouldn't have put the effort in to what I've done, I could be doing what I love to do. And it's hard.
Yes.
but it's worth it.
But if you
it's
confront
hard.
the fear, then it's just manageable. You can manage anything.
Yeah.
I more had to worry about my wife's fear of it because I'm an idea person, and so like every day I have ideas. Hey, I should do this, or I'm thinking about. I mean, I was going to start a guttering company. I was going to start a cleaning company. I was going to start a pest control company. I mean, every day I'd come to her with something new, and she'd be like, "Bro, you're wearing me out."
I think
That
the
could be another
spouse,
excuse
But I had to
too.
figure it out.
I think the spouse of every entrepreneur had to overcome that fear. Like,
Oh, yes.
yeah. I mean, because April was the same way, and I think every entrepreneur has to go through hundreds of ideas.
Well, we just want one that works.
right.
Yes.
You know, and they don't work. Not all of them work, or you don't have the drive to make that particular one work, or the experience, or the you don't know the people, the right people, and you know you gotta spend extra time on top of your job figuring all of that stuff out.
Right.
But you regardless of all the ideas, just same thing with you going through all the jobs, you were still consistent at trying to find what it is that you guys were missing. So, and now you did, and now look at you guys, right?
Right.
So huge.
Look at me now.
Look at me now.
Okay, so we already kind of, I mean,
Talked about a little bit of the concept.
the consequences, are, life will be hard. You're gonna live paycheck to paycheck.
Let's just say life is hard.
It's hard no matter
Yes,
what.
no matter
Yes.
what. But do you want to live with it continually, or do you want to have to manage it every once in a while? I would much rather have to manage a couple of difficult times, a week, as opposed to living with it 24/7
Yes.
and having to worry about it all the time. The consequences, though, are pretty self-explanatory. You don't produce, you don't make money, you don't.
Your health,
your health. You start to doubt yourself.
You affect people around you.
Your
You're negative.
Yeah.
People don't want to be around you.
Different, all that stuff. Those are the consequences of excuses.
Well, and so something my mom
Stop making excuses.
Something my mom
Simple,
told
right?
me. Yeah, it is. Well, it is. Something my mom
simple,
told me
but hard.
whenever I was getting into the barbering world. So the school I went to, it was just weird. Like the whole thing was weird. It wasn't exciting. I thought I could do it because I was artistic and I knew some girls that were in the industry. I was like, I could do that. And then I get into school and I just start getting burned out on the school part itself because you're cutting very like I want to be politically correct. Very like low income, smelly people, and so I'm thinking this is what I'm getting
We just
into.
got canceled.
Yeah,
Damn it.
But no,
Dylan
it's like-
goes on
politically
vacation for 1
smelly
week and we
people.
get canceled.
Sorry,
But
that
it's-
just made me
no, this is gonna
like
help.
a little
Trust
kid
me.
crack up.
Trust me. But I was like, what am I doing?
Yes.
Like this isn't what I thought. I thought it was gonna be fun. I thought,
Well, you attract what you are, remember?
well, not in that case.
That was your words.
Because it was in school and I didn't have a choice who walked in
Thank
the
God you
doors,
smell
right?
good now.
And they're coming in for a discount haircut and they're not. And they want like a $50 haircut for $6 and I didn't get paid any because I'm in the school.
Yeah.
And so I was telling my mom, I was like, I just don't want to do this. She's like, you need to just go ahead and finish. You need to go get a job and you need to try it out
Yeah.
and just push through.
Nope. Agree.
Because I almost quit on it.
Yeah.
And just kept brewing beer downtown and which was fun, but it
You
wasn't
know how to
paying.
brew beer?
Yeah, I'm a brewer.
Yeah, he can brew.
And so,
Man,
but it
Casey,
didn't pay at the
we need to
time.
hang out more.
All the breweries weren't here yet. It was not a thing.
He was ahead of his time.
No,
I was
that's
ahead of my
that
time.
was the best time.
Yeah, and so I got a bunch of free beer all the time. But
Fair.
anyway, so I pushed through, and that career taught me so much. How to book
yeah.
Our
appointments.
experiences
and-
make us who we are and make us better.
And I met my wife there. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't change any of it. And so I guess my point there is, even if you're not happy with what you're doing, pretend like it is the job you're doing.
Yes.
Do it
and
the best that you can.
Do it the best you can
while you figure
set
it out,
yourself up
and-
because
yeah.
you're learning how to show people, hey, I'm not having fun, but I'm not bringing you down with me.
As
And I'm
long as you're
figuring it out.
figuring out and taking steps to
Yeah.
make it better or to
Yes.
do something, because people can get stuck in that, and we don't want people to get stuck in that. I'm gonna make one comment real quick. You guys should have seen Lauren's face when you made that comment.
Which comment did I
Smelly
make?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not saying it again.
I just
But
said
it was like
The smelly people?
she was like ashamed to be our director editor. Yeah. So good.
think she enjoys it.
Good going, Casey.
Thank you.
We're sorry to our audience. This is the last
Oh.
time he will be a guest. But
See y'all next
actually,
week.
put it in the comments if you think Casey should be back or not.
He said some really good stuff.
He said
today.
some really good
Thanks,
stuff
guys.
today.
I'm
I
not
really,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
No, none of us are.
Yeah, we
Michael
don't-
Jordan
me.
didn't shoot
I'm just
100%, guys. Okay.
Who?
Oh, that's
Michael Jordan.
Who?
I didn't
Okay,
hear what
now-
he said.
Oh, okay.
Now we're
okay.
canceled.
Okay, so now so I mean, I think the consequences are pretty, like, I mean, people understand what the consequences of making excuses are. How do you change it? How do we change it? How do we stop making
What's your
excuses? Because
mindset?
we said it's simple, right? Stop making excuses, but then why is it so hard? And one of the things I was going to get at earlier was one of the hardest, for me, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do as people is to be honest, and not honest with what you're saying to other people, honest with what you tell yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a 7-year-old at home, and we we've read some books, my wife and I, to learn about his behavior and things like that. And there are things where, something happens and we don't see it happen, but it's very clear that he is the only person in the household that could have done whatever it is that we're disciplining him for.
Okay.
And when we ask him, "Hey, did you do this?"
Nope.
He says, "No, I didn't."
It was Kaysen.
He'll say it was Kaysen, a baby that can't even talk yet, let alone crawl, walk. But as kids, like they think if I admit to this, I'm gonna get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
And so they don't want to get in trouble, and so they convince themselves that they didn't do it.
Even if you tell them they're not going to get in trouble.
Even if you tell them you're not going to get in trouble, I just want you to practice being honest, right? And the books say don't try not to, like, you can't call your kids liars, because then they're going to start thinking that they're liars,
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but when you clearly know that they're lying, it's a difficult situation to be in, and but they tell themselves, like, they make themselves believe, no, I didn't, even though 100% they did it, and they're not doing it on purpose, right? It's not like a bad character thing.
It's like your mouth is blue. I know you ate the last popsicle, bro.
Right. But they will not admit it, because in their head they have convinced themselves that they didn't do it. And I find it so fascinating
that we still do it,
because we do it as adults, and we will like when somebody asks us something that we know we should be doing to make our lives better, we will come up with every excuse in the book. And even though it's an excuse, we have convinced ourselves all those excuses that we gave, we believe they are true. It's not an excuse to us.
The brain is such a powerful
it's so
muscle.
Powerful.
It is so powerful.
And so the most important thing that we can do, in my opinion, is to be honest with yourself and who you are and what you're doing and what you're not doing, because it's the moment that you learn how to be honest with yourself is the moment I believe you can make positive changes in your life and accept yourself for your flaws and for your
and it's okay.
For the things that you're good at. Just accept who you are as a person and as an individual, and work at things and show up and stop making excuses, right?
Yeah.
You got it, but you can't stop making excuses if you are not honest with yourself.
And a good exercise that write this down, like sit down and think about how you want to perceive yourself to other people, right? So if you want to be a certain way, and you don't, and even if it's hard for you to look at yourself, I mean, you can, if people are consistently saying the same thing to you about something, don't get defensive and upset about it. I mean, it's a natural reaction to get defensive, but maybe stop for a second and think about, okay, well, if these people are being consistently doing that, then what is it I'm doing, right? Yeah. But if you can't do that, then make an exercise and write down how you want people to perceive you. Your family, your parents, your kids, your significant other. How do you want them to perceive you, and start thinking about it that way? Because then that's how you're going to perceive out to everyone else, and then you're going to get exactly like what you want and whatever, and attract different people.
Yeah, another exercise just like that, kind of on the opposite side, is figure out what kind of person you want to be around.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
And then think, am I like that?
Yeah.
Like, do I smile when I come in the door? Because does it make me feel good when someone comes in and smiles and waves at me? Yeah.
No.
So do I come in grumpy? Yeah. Okay, well, maybe you should stop doing that.
Yes.
Right?
No, I like that. Like if you can't figure out how you want to be, then that's another good way to be.
Well, and it's like that whole thing, like all billionaires have the same 24 hours in a day as people that make $30,000 a year.
100%.
Right? And so it's just how they're spending their time. Another thing that is for me was very motivational and it was surprising for me was Matthew McConaughey's speech. If you guys haven't heard that, it's amazing because
I think so. Remind us.
Well, he talks to like college graduates or something like that, and he basically talks about the areas of his life that he watches and monitors, right? And so like something I learned in counseling once was there's really no such thing as balance, and that's a kind of a dangerous word, right? Because when you have a baby, you don't get balance, right?
No.
You're taking care of a baby. When you
Yes.
first get married or you're engaged, what are you doing? You're planning a wedding. You're going on honeymoon. You're spending time with your wife.
Yeah.
When you start up a new business, what are you doing? You're
spending time
running
with
it,
your business,
right?
yep.
So what Matthew McConaughey talks about is the areas in his life that he has to keep in check is his marriage, his family, his kids,
Yep.
his career, his spiritual or his spirituality, and his mental health.
Yeah.
And so all those areas will fluctuate, right? Like sometimes he's like, oh my God, maybe I don't think I'm giving my wife what she needs. I need to give her a little more time. Well, when he does that, it's going to pull away from his career or from his friends. But that's okay because you can't give everyone 100%, but he just watches him and go, okay, am I in the red with my marriage? Okay, I need to spend more time on it. Am I in the red with my friends or my career? I need to spend more time on it. And I think if you can maybe write those things down and watch it,
Yes.
it'll help you and you won't be thinking about excuses. It's like, okay, I know my wife needs a date night. Let me plan it. There's no
Anything
excuses
you write
at this
down,
point.
you'll make happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anything.
I disagree with some of that, what you said a little bit, not what you said, but whoever you quoted about balance. Because I always say that there's balance to everything. And I understand the point that person is trying to make about like it's impossible to keep all things in balance at all times.
Consistently.
But the reason that is because we're human, right?
Yeah.
But what you mentioned there was, okay, when you see that you're going in the red in one of those categories, you have to fix it. To me, that means that we operate at our best when we're operating at balance. When we get off tilt in any of those categories, it's because we're overcompensating somewhere else. Like we're pulling time away from something to focus on something else. And there are times in life where that's just an inevitable fact that you have to do.
Yeah, that is balancing.
But at every stage in life, like you still have to find balance at that stage, right? You have to recognize like my wife and I had to compromise a lot when we started this business, and she knew that there was going to be a huge demand on my time. But we talked about it and we were able to find balance in our marriage to make it to where it didn't become a strain on our marriage. And the only way, communication, and that's the only way that it worked was because we communicated, and I had to make an effort to still put family as an important part of our lives, as opposed to just making it work,
and not make that as an excuse,
and not make it an excuse to not be with family. 100%. And so,
but you know what you don't get balance in?
What's that?
Sleep.
Are you talking about me personally or just people?
Yeah, you.
Okay, I was like, time out. No, you need to get that.
Yeah.
Curtis, doesn't sleep.
But that's my choice. I'm making excuses. Like I could have balance in sleep if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or if I made the choice to.
Sure.
Me not getting much sleep, and April will tell you this too. Like he's a dumbass. Like he should be sleeping way more than he does. And it's because of the schedule and what I have the demands I've put on myself, and it's probably because I am giving some things in my life importance that I shouldn't be giving importance to, and it's hard to just take
basketball
it away.
cards are pretty important.
So important. But I mean, that to me is more like a mental health type thing.
Yeah.
However, how much time am I giving to it? How much is it taking away from my sleep? Because sleep, basketball cards, what's more important?
You don't play video games, do you?
Not very much, but I've started to since Jonah has getting into it. And so now that Jonah's getting really good at it, it's pulled me back into it,
right.
and it's addicting, you know? So
Thea and I will like argue over it.
Oh, really? I haven't done that yet.
2-player games and like.
Oh yeah, that I just let Jonah tell me what to do, whenever we're playing 2-player.
Yeah.
But overcoming it, to me, I think balance is great. But honesty. Well, there was something else I can't.
For me, it's just I've already said it again on the last one. Is manifesting. Literally, what you feed into your brain and affects your mindset and it affects your actions and it affects a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say things like this doesn't work or it's not gonna work, our market's different.
Well, then your market is different. It isn't gonna work.
You're manifesting that. Oh, they're not gonna answer my phone calls, or they're gonna say no, or you manifestation is crucial, because I mean it's just funny how like whenever my mindset is like positive and I'm like, man, I'm gonna make something happen, and I'm not stopping until I get an appointment or someone answers the phone. Somebody answers the phone. But if I'm sitting there out of fear making calls and things like, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer, then they don't answer,
Yes.
So it's just
have you guys and this can be the last thing and then we can move on, but have you guys seen the new I think it's like only 3 episodes. I haven't watched all 3 of them, but it's called Arnold by Arnold. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he literally talks about his story. He kind of talks about manifestation and excuses and everything like that. Like I honestly didn't know that about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's actually he came from like nothing and not from America, right? And then like his story. Like everything he went through is actually very interesting. It'd be very good for this episode.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
That's what people made fun of him when he wanted to become governor and when he wanted to be an actor.
Oh, when he was an actor, like
huge.
The whole episode on the actor.
You're this muscle beach bodybuilder guy. You can't act.
Well, he can't. And I think that's even a better example to prove our point, because he's not good at what he does, but he still did it.
And the movie that blew him up, and he like barely even had to act. He didn't even have to say anything.
Terminator.
Yeah, he said like 2 words. Back. Yeah, he said that, and like that was it.
Right, Terminator.
And that's what made him famous. But he went through like a struggle of like becoming an actor and stuff like that. It was in an era of not the macho action figure like we have now. Like he was like the beginning of all that. Yeah. So like the odds of him, he can't act. He came from another country. His accent is strong.
I don't even think he could speak English.
He had literally everything against him that he could have made every excuse in the world to put that against him. But no, he had his mindset right, and he just pushed through it. And I mean, he's done some incredible things in his life. You know what would be
really cool?
If he came to our show and hung out?
Yeah, well, this is a personal invite for Arnold Schwarzenegger to come to the show.
Lauren, can you get his phone number?
Teach us.
Arnold, get to the chopper.
Our people will contact your people. And tune in next week for Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, I think it'd be so cool. If you think about somebody that you look up to, like for me, it would be Michael Jordan. Like, like the fact what that guy did, the work ethic that he had when he was in the prime of his career was incredible. The stories that you hear about how, like, I'm a very competitive person, and so when somebody like talks shit to me, like, you just basically made it happen. Thank you.
He opened up. They opened up opportunity.
It would be so cool.
I was trying to blow up bricks really quick.
It would be so it'd be so cool if we could like go and view, and we only see the end result. We see the status and the glory and the glam. Yeah, we see that. It would be so cool to get to watch the what it took to get to. It would be so cool to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's struggling and he can make an excuse, but he decides to continue going on, and like seeing the failures and like how many people told him no until he what did it take for him to get that role as the Terminator?
Yes.
Right? What did it take for Michael Jordan to become the best? how does the best basketball player in the world, I still think about this, how does the best basketball player in the world get drafted 3rd in the NBA draft?
Oh, yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, 3rd is still really high,
what
but
did
still.
Tom Brady get drafted into the?
When
he like the
6th, 7th round.
Yeah, it was like
Nikola
crazy.
Jokic for the Denver Nuggets got drafted. In
Nuggets.
basketball, there's only 2 rounds and there's 60 picks.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic was the 41st pick
Wow.
in the 2014 NBA draft, and his first season was 2015-16. So it might have been the 2015 NBA draft. He is actually the lowest or highest, however you say it, highest draft pick. I'll say lowest, I'm guessing. Yeah, the lowest draft pick to win Finals MVP.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
I mean, and he broke so many records this year, but it's like, man, it'd be so cool to just get to see, get to watch a struggle for somebody. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the world of technology now. So, I mean, I kind of challenge our viewers to go find your idol, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what their background is, because, like, I think of, and this is going to throw everyone through, Machine Gun Kelly. So people look at him. He's nasty. He's covered in tattoos. He's just a rapper, whatever else.
Drinks
he did
blood.
a lot of drugs. He did a lot of drugs. And he has a documentary out there. But even him going through everything, he was still consistent. Yeah, he smokes a lot of weed now, but he's not on all the hard drugs and stuff like that and whatever else. It was still a hardship, and he still fought through the excuses and the people telling him he's crap, and he had to fight through so much. But anyways, I challenge everyone. It doesn't matter who they are or where they came from. Go look up your idol and see where they came from and see their whole life and how they got there. Because going back to the first of the podcast, I said people always wonder how it seems so easy to other people like that. And that's the perception,
Never
right?
is.
No, it's never
Not
that
ever.
easy, right? So I challenge you to go do that. Go look it up.
If you like the Beatles, go watch Get Back on Disney. It's like a 9-hour documentary on them and watching them write an album together, and they hated each other, right? But you don't see. I mean, I say they hated each other. They did not get along.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Always
That's what is
fighting with each other. They would walk out on each other. I mean, they didn't know if they were going to come back. They couldn't follow them on social.
That's why entitlement is dangerous, because we get entitled because we see what somebody has, but we don't see what it took for them to get there, and we
just
feel
want
like we deserve that or something.
Yes.
You know, and as we are learning through this business, like the hardships and the difficulties and the stress that we are under and that we go through, people aren't gonna know and see. They're not gonna have known what we went through as we built this company.
No.
And there's going to be a day where people come in and they think, I should be in your position.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like, okay, you know,
Here you go.
If you should be in my
I'm just
position,
kidding.
take it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just go do
know?
it.
Right.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way hard.
If it's not, if you can
But
do
choose your
it,
heart.
then go do it. Yeah.
Well,
it's that easy.
It's
have a good
available to
mindset.
you. No one's keeping it from you.
No.
Right? You're just keeping it from yourself. That's the hard part.
You
Okay.
can achieve anything else you want in the world.
We've been
The
going
end.
for a long time. Let's I gotta take your job this week.
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, it's Laffy
I want a
Taffy
banana
time.
one.
Laffy Taffy. There's all banana. We can all get a banana one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a banana grape one?
Yeah, something like
Oh,
that.
Oh, this is wild.
It's like my
banana.
favorite
I'm good
and
with
my
that.
least
Ooh,
favorite.
wild berry banana. Yeah, I could
Combined
do
together.
that too. Wait, don't. We gotta do the joke, man.
Oh, no, this is
Oh,
wild
yeah,
berry
before you
banana.
rip it.
Okay, I like
That's
this
what
better.
we just said, but
when
it's
you
okay.
when you listen back, you're gonna crack up. We both
Oh,
said
gosh.
wild berry banana. And then
Well, I'm
Brooke
just like
goes,
over here. I'm in my own
there's
chair
wild berry in
today. I'm
this
in my
one.
own little world.
That's funny in itself.
jokes on every rapper.
Well, you know what? Well, why do artists always paint fruit?
Hey, I had the same joke. That's not right.
Really?
They
Yeah.
get a different
Get a
flavor.
different one. Here, get this one. Here, get this one. Unless you already opened it. I told you not
But
to.
why do artists always paint fruit?
Tell us, Brooke.
Because it's a master peach.
Oh,
this is a good
We
one.
need a boom.
This is a good one for me because I am a guitar player.
Oh,
Aren't we supposed to be eating them as we're telling the joke?
I mean, I don't want to
if you
tear
don't
my
want to,
joke.
Yeah.
Okay, why
I'm good.
don't the guitar player eat the whole apple?
I don't know
Eat the
why.
whole apple.
Too
Something about a
hardcore.
What'd you say?
Too hardcore. That's a Salad Music. It's a really kind of a dumb joke.
Oh,
I'm
is it?
being honest with you guys.
I was like, it didn't even make
Okay.
Casey laugh.
What kind of primate doesn't eat bananas?
kind of primate doesn't eat bananas?
An orange attain.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That's Lappy Tappy appropriate.
There you go.
How did one of the blueberries go missing?
Oh, I know this one.
Why did one of the blueberries go missing?
Yeah. I don't know if I know how to say this word.
Oh, try.
It was a strawberry.
It was a
Strawberry?
S-T-R-O berry. Strawberry.
Strawberry.
Oh, it's a strawberry.
Yeah, I'm like, it has to do. It's a strawberry joke. Why did the blueberry go missing? It was a strawberry, but why did
that doesn't make
That's
sense?
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Laffy Taffy.
This joke's going
Just
over.
explain
Listen.
this. Explain that in the comments if you know.
Yeah, everyone, whoever
They're
knows
like,
it,
these idiots, they're typing.
What do you get when you mix molten rock and tropical fruit?
Wild berry banana.
Hot guava. That's really funny.
Last one. Why did the lonely farmer light a peach on fire? It's a long answer.
Something about a pit. Something about a peach pit, fire pit, peach pit.
Kind of close.
Okay.
The lonely farmer lit a peach on fire. He was looking for that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Nice.
That one's
All
funny.
right, so that's our show, folks. Click, comment, subscribe, and all the other things that we say.
Awesome.
Bell.
Thank you, everyone.
Never stop striving. It's gonna
guys
be
next
worth it.
for
Wait and see.
Mindset.
Building your legacy.